Hi everyone. Today I wanted to show you how to set up your own Mumble server, and in order to do that you're going to have to go and watch one of my videos on how to install third-party apps if you haven't already. If you set that up, then you're already one step ahead, but if you haven't, I would go ahead and watch that video and install that. You'll see when you watch the video what I mean. Now I'm just going to show you guys that I'm using this DiskStation version 4.12668, and I've read that some of the files that I'm going to have you installed don't quite work with the beta version that's out. So just to clear up any problems, if you do run into any problems, maybe that may be why if you're on a newer version. But there hasn't been a newer version lately, and I don't run the betas. So we're going to want to start off by going to the package manager here, and you may have yours somewhere else, but from here I already have the other sources tab, and if you don't have this, again, you're going to have to go and install the third-party apps or watch my video on how to do that from Synology Community. And once you do get this tab, you're going to have a program or a package here called uMurmur. And I'm just going to go ahead and install this. And basically today I'm going to show you how to install it and set it up without having to telnet into your box if you're someone that doesn't want to go in there and risk messing up some other files. This is a pretty easy way to do it. Okay, so now uMurmur is installed. It should show up in here. And one thing I want to show you quick, once you do get it up and running, if you're having some problems, you can click on the More tab, and right here is going to be your log. So any kind of problems that may come about will show up in here. Alright, so we can go ahead and minimize this. And I want to show you, we're going to install a program called config file editor, and it's from this guy, Mertymade. He doesn't keep his packages up to date anymore, but this one still seems to work. And this is the easy way of editing some files on your machine without having to telnet in. And I've already got this package, but if you scroll down on this website, and I'll put the URL in the show notes so you guys can come here. It's config file editor. Now on here you're going to see some of these other ones like SAB NZB, which is a great program, but I would stick to getting them from the Synology community just because he updates them, or Synology community keeps them up to date. This guy says he doesn't update any of these anymore, so you're just going to want to stay updated. Right here you're going to find the download link, and you're going to want to download this config file editor 12.spk, and I've already gone and done that. So once you download that, you're going to want to come back to your package center here, and all we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and install update, and it's going to ask where that file's at. So, and I put mine right on my desktop. Here it is. Go ahead and open, click next. So now it's ready to run, and we're going to just in the install that should show up in here. Where is it? Oh, went right by it. Config file editor. So now we're done in the package center, so we can close this. And here it's going to show up in your your start menu of your NAS, and come down to config file editor. And this is going to let us set up uMurmur. So you're going to click on this choose config file. Scroll down to the bottom. These are some preset ones in here, but we're going to go down to config file editor, and you're going to come up with this list. And what we're going to have to do here is add the location of the uMurmur configuration file. And I've already got it set up, so I'm just going to paste it in here. But I'll put this in the show notes for you. It's volume 1, add app store, uMurmur, var, uMurmur.conf, uMurmur. And this last part is just how it's going to show up in the drop down menu here. Once you've done that, you're going to want to click save. And now we can now we'll be able to edit. Maybe we have to restart it. Go back up to the drop down menu, and now we have a uMurmur option here. Okay, now that we have our config uMurmur file open, what I want to do quick before we start editing this is go back to the package manager or the package center, and you're going to see where uMurmur is installed. We're just going to want to go and stop it, and that way it'll be ready to run once we have this all edited. So once you've done that, I'm just going to go line by line here. Here you have a welcome message for everyone that shows up. I skipped the max bandwidth, I left that default. And you can just put welcome to my Mumble server. You can put whatever you want in there. This certificate and private key, I left that alone. And the next one is pretty important. This is where you're going to put in a password to log into this server, or to be able to connect to it, which unless you want anybody to be able to connect, you're going to want to put something in here. So I'm just going to go with password just for default or something simple. The next line down, here let me zoom in so we can see all this a little better. But the next one is going to be for administration password, and this is going to be basically if you're going to have admins that are going to be able to kick people out and ban people. If if it's something that's open to the public, you're going to want to set something in here. It comes with default of test, but I'm just going to type in token for an example here. You're going to set it to whatever you want, just for the fact that when you log into this server, whoever has this, you're going to set a token in Mumble, and whoever has this token under their username will have admin rights. So whether you name it password or test, the user that you want to be an admin has to have this token set in Mumble, and there's an option in there. You'll see where you can add that. And then the next one's kind of all coincide with this admin one here. Band length. It gives you a description over on the right side. 0 is forever, or if you just want to ban them for so many seconds, you could set a number in here. The enable ban, by default it's off, so you're going to have to change it to true right here. I don't use it, it's all amongst friends, so it's not something I need to set. But you may want to do it. I've heard some people run into problems where they get disconnected, and they were blaming this setup here when you enable ban. So that's something, if you run into problems, maybe you want to disable that and see if it helps. So, and then the next one is on your, it saves a log of all the people that are banned, and by default it's off. That's another thing they said if you're writing to an SSD, which that doesn't apply to us on the NAS servers, but it can cause problems. The next one is allow text messages, and that's set to true. That just lets you text message one another. I left that alone. The max users, by default they have it set to 10. I haven't tried changing it any higher, but 10 works out fine for me. We've had up to 5 people, and if everyone has their mic set up correctly, it works really well. But anyone that's used Ventrilo or any of these other voice IP chats, you know how annoying it is when somebody doesn't have it set up right. Push to talk is a good option, so you don't hear every thought that they have or every background noise. Some people don't set up their mics correct. Next one is going to be bind port. It's 64,738 by default. I'm just going to go ahead and leave that. The next one is important. It's your bind address. And this is going to be the IP address of your NAS, your Synology server. So most of them are, everyone's going to have something different. It depends on what your router assigned to your NAS. This one here is mine. And again, I have mine set up static, so this last part here never changes, so I'll never have to go in and change it. If you don't already have your NAS server set up with a static IP address in your router, I would definitely recommend doing that. And with this port number too, you're going to want to forward this 64,738 port to whatever your IP address for your NAS server is. That way people on the outside of your router's firewall can connect to your uMurmur server. I pretty much just skipped the username and group name stuff, and you can jump down to where it says channel tree. Now there's a parent directory, and then there are child channels. I take that back. Parent channels and child channels. And what you want to set up here is I left the first one alone. I left the lobby alone because that's pretty standard. But if you'd like to customize yours, here are 2 different channels that they have in here. All you have to do that is in parentheses, this area is editable here, and you can change it to say Call of Duty. Let's say Team 1, and again the parent equals lobby here. You'll just want to leave that alone. And the next line is your description. You can go ahead and change your description to Call of Duty Team 1. And then it has the, you can leave everything default to red team, blue team, but there is a password on each channel. So you're going to want to change that or just leave it blank if you don't want a password to get into the channels. And I'm just going to choose to leave those blank. So here, for example, I'll go ahead and do Call of Duty and Team 2, for example. And keep in mind that people that are going to Team 1 channel and people that go into Team 2 channel, they can only speak to each other if they're in the same channel. So if you plan on playing against one another, you wouldn't be able to hear what Team 1's saying on Team 2's channel. And again, you want to go and change your description if you want. And again, I'm going to take out the password, since I put a password on the server up here. And then the only other place we need to make changes here, are in this channel links area here, configuration. And since we changed the names up here, we're going to have to change this red team in parentheses again. And we're just going to change it to what we called it up above. And I'm going to make sure and get the lowercase, uppercase exact as I typed it in up above. And once you have that, you're pretty well set up and ready to go. Just make sure, and the important ones again are, if you do change any of these child channels, make sure that you only change the same areas that I edited, and make sure you keep the lowercase uppercase correct with what you called your channel. That can kind of screw you up there. And again, make sure that you have your port forwarded and your IP address right. And once you're all done there, you can just go ahead and click save. Every changes are saved. We can close this. We can go back to our package center, and we can start up our uMurmur package. Now, if mine went from green run to the stop here. If you didn't have that, then something wasn't set up right, and you're going to have to go and check out what you didn't do right. You can go and click on the More button, click on the Log tab, and this is kind of going to give you a little bit of information. It's your log for your server, and you can see that we added the channel Call of Duty Team 1 and Call of Duty Team 2. So now when we log in, we'll see these, and you can set it to whatever you want, but just kind of give you an idea what some people do. Alright, then the next part I'll log in and show you how to add the settings to Mumble, but that's the main part of setting up your server. Alright, the next step you're going to want to do is go ahead and go out and get the software for your operating system. And you're going to be able to do that at mumble.sourceforge.net, and I'll put a link in the show notes for you guys. And in here they have they have software for Windows, Mac OS X, Linux, Ubuntu, and even some other distros. Once you've gone and installed it, you're just going to want to go ahead and open it up. And the first time you run it, it's gonna go ahead and connect to a whole bunch of different IPs here, or it's going to show a whole bunch of different servers, I mean. But we're just going to click Add New, because we have our own, and you can label it whatever you want. Just call it My Mumble Server. Now the address, if you're on your local area network or your own IP or your own LAN, you're going to want to type in that address of your uMurmur server that we put in the config file earlier. And this is mine. You're going to want to put in that port number, and then the username. You can just create whatever username you want. Now the first time if you did set a password, it's going to end up not allowing you to connect. It shows up in favorites here, and we can just go ahead and either double click on it, or we can go ahead and connect to it. And it's going to tell you that the server password, you didn't put in the right password if in the config file you did put in a password. So here's where you're going to have to go ahead and type in your password. And all I did was typed in password just for an example. And we're going to go ahead and say OK. So now we're connected. On your left hand side, it's kind of like a log here. It's here's our welcome message that we put in the config file. And up here in the main area is we're sitting in the lobby right now, and we got a little green dot next to us. If we want to go into Call of Duty Team 1 channel, just go ahead and double click, and now it shows that we're with the green dot. It shows that we're in there, and we're inside there. And on the Mac version, I think that Windows version is slightly different, but when you're talking, your lips will light up. So now you're pretty well set. You just have to give out your address to your friends, which that's one thing I wanted to talk about, is that when we connected, let me well, you're going to have to give them if you're using this Synology.me address that Synology gives you, you're going to have to give them that. Whatever, it's different for it's something that you set up. Everyone that has gone and set up this, they'll know. And that's what you're going to want to give your friends. And they'll use that address to log into your Mumble server. I hope you guys like this video. If you guys have any questions or suggestions or anything that you want to see next, let me know, and I'll try and make it happen. Thanks for watching.